It's going to be a big challenge this week, and TCU is a very good football team. I think they're number 3 and number 4 in the polls. And the thing we're going to have to do is just go out this week and just make sure that the preparation, we had to be on point, because in order for us to go to Fort Worth and play an unbelievable game, we're going to have to start, and it has to start on tomorrow. You know, we've been the last 2, we've been in the games, we just haven't been able to finish, and we have to finish those games. And just looking, our guys have a really good attitude. They've worked hard and they've played hard, but it's just a matter of just making plays at the right time and just staying focused and just having the whole approach to the game.
Questions, please, raise your hand.
Charlie, obviously kind of the same result the last 2 weeks, but how did your team handle it? Was it different? How did you communicate with them the second week?
Well, I said to him after the game, I said that if you think about us, guys, you look at the 2 opponents that we played the last 2 weeks and look where we are and just how far we come. And it's our own fault that we've been in the position we're in. And now we have to learn how to just go close out games. And everybody has a job to do, and just do your job and just keep battling and keep competing.
Ryan in the back left.
Charlie, how many plays from Saturday's game do you intend to submit to the Big 12 office for review?
I'm not exactly for sure on that, Ryan. I just, officials officiate and coaches coach, and we just got to do a better job. It wasn't their outcome that, where they had an effect on that game. We just got to do a better job.
Raise hands for questions, please.
Charlie, sometimes you just feel unlucky.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, but you know what? A lot of times, Kurt, we got to create our own, and we got to create plays. You look at it. You look at that game there on Saturday, and we have our chances, and we don't. A drop ball here, and then just making a stop. We allow them to take the ball, the opening 2 drives, and drive it down the field and get scores. And if we stop them there, then we give them the 98-yard drive there in the third quarter, where it was a big, where we get it to 3rd down, and if we just get off the field on 3rd down, and then they have to punt, there's a short field, and then we're gonna be able to go drive it, and then we throw the double pass, and it's just maybe a half a yard, where if we just get that, it was completed, and there's a score there. But we had our opportunities.
You wonder when you're going to get a break?
I don't know. We gotta just keep working. It'll come someday.
Back left.
Hey, Coach. The defense obviously played a lot better this week. You can see those kids growing up play by play. I mean, half by half, y'all made great adjustments in the second half to take away the slant from them. Talk about that a little bit. Tell us how they're going.
What happens, Steve, is we have so much youth on defense, and that's no excuse, because I told them now that they're no longer freshmen, they're upperclassmen. So you just have to go out and compete and go play well. But they opening 2 drives, they took the ball and just marched it right down the field. And once we got settled down and start playing well up front, Ridgeway played unbelievable. He's able to control the line of scrimmage, and it was big when he got that turnover and then taking in for the score. But he had big sacks, but it's a matter of just in the secondary of just covering up guys, and that's why you see so many with the young players. They can, they're not afraid of their ability, and they're going to go up there and challenge a wide receiver, and they, if it needs to be man up, bump coverage, they'll play bump. They need to back off, they'll back off. But it's more of us just making plays on defense and just playing together and playing well and playing hard.
Coach D, after the game, I think a lot of us might worry about a young team's psyche the way you've lost the last 2, but it seems like to a man the veterans were saying, don't worry about these guys. Do you find that they have the right mentality to deal with the last couple of weeks?
Well, it's going to depend on the vets, Dennis, and as long as they can keep that team together, then we're going to be fine. But, what happens with young guys, they just don't understand yet. So they're going to continue to just go out and continue to play. And even just talking to them, they just think that, I can make a play here or there. And you look at that interception that Houghton has down the sideline, and still John Bird has one taken away from him. But those young guys, they just want to play, and they're just so eager to just keep going. Whereas if we just it's the older guys that we can't let the psyche where to get in their heads, because then it will affect the younger players.
You finally saw some experience and some consistency with your offensive line, and then you lose Kent Perkins in this game. moving forward, are you concerned about that group now that you're not going to have Perkins there to help shore it up?
No, we can shuffle those guys around, and we can get the right guys in place, and where we should be okay. And you think about it, that was a really good defensive line that they played against, and that's what I was telling Gerard. You know, a lot of times you just got to take what they give you and don't try to press it. And if you hold the ball, if a team's really good enough, their guys can get off the blocks and go get sacks. But you have to be able to break them down. But we'll be able to move guys around and hopefully keep the quarterback protected.
And more front right.
Coach, when you're starting a few freshmen, but you've also let a lot of guys come in off the bench, and they seem to be playing well, like the Chris Hills and Devontae Holton. Is there a thought maybe of just letting some of these young guys start, just letting them loose and just see what they have?
Yeah, we have thought about that, but it's sometimes you like to get into the game and just watch the flow of the game, and then once they're in, they're in. So we just let them go play it out. But just watching how the game begins, even there Saturday, you ended up with, you go Bonnie, but then you bring in the two freshmen with Boyd and Hill and even Devontae. So we played all three freshman corners. And thing we talked about letting PJ play a little more because he's earned it. And even Vaccaro, he earned it the last game. So we're just going to continue to just play a lot of guys and just let them play. And because what happens when they play and you play enough of them, then they play with a lot of energy and they enjoy being out there and they'll compete. And then you don't have to worry about, just sitting there worrying, hey, can I really depend on that person? No, just let them play. They'll get it done.
On the far left here.
Charlie, even with all the injuries TCU has, they still have Trayvon Boykin, they still have Josh Dotson and a pretty good offensive line. How do you cope with that, especially with some of the young guys on defense? They're putting up some huge numbers.
Well, key is Boykin, and the thing he does is he can break you down, and he'll take off. He can run with it as the legs to run, and then he can make the throws. And Dotson makes unbelievable catches. You look at that catch that he threw there Saturday. It bounced off of him, and another receiver ended up catching it. So he's going to throw. We know the ball is going to go to Dotson. That's where his ball is going to go. And Green's doing a good job in the backfield, but their offensive line is very solid. They do an unbelievable job of protecting their quarterback. And that's why Boykin's able to put up the numbers that he put up because he's going to run around, and we got to get him tackled. We're going to have to corral the ball, but also we're going to have to cover because he will find the open receiver.
Chip on the right side, please.
Charlie, why did it take a few games for Ridgeway to get into the starting lineup? And secondly, what was said between you and the official on the sideline? Because it looked like you were walking away and he was still talking to you, and then, he said something, you responded, and the flag went up.
Well, Ridgeway, the one with Ridgeway is that, he's been working hard. He actually, you look at the California game, he played really well. And what happened the first two is just, during the preseason camp, he was just working about getting into shape and had just a couple of nagging injuries. But then you watch him go out there and play this past week against Oklahoma State and had a great game. I don't remember what I said to the official. I mean, it's I forgot what it was.
Mine here on the front left.
Charlie, first of all, is Perkins out this week, or do you have any idea if he's available?
Well, Mike, Perk will be day-to-day, and I know they're going to take another look at him today. And even when I walked out there on the field, I said, what was it? And I just felt like someone had got thrown into him. I just said I felt a helmet, so just don't know how serious it is.
And the other thing, it seems like after you suffer, or any team suffers losses like you guys have suffered, there's a danger that the players start fearing the worst to happen. How do you prevent that kind of oh, here we go again type mentality from setting in?
You just have to keep playing through it, and you're right. When you have tough losses like that, then they just wait for something bad to happen. But that's why the upperclassmen just have to keep telling them, hey guys, we just got to keep playing. And I told them, I said, if you just keep playing and just play with the energy, eventually it will turn our way. But don't wait for something bad to happen. We got to create the good plays ourselves.
Roger in the middle.
Charlie, you knew this point was coming in the schedule, but 3 at home, and now you go up to the DFW area for 2 tough games. I guess that gets their attention, but, man, can't get a break with the schedule either. Is this maybe the best thing, go play a great team?
Well, if you look at it, Roger, it's you're right. You go 3 at home, and now you go on the road, and it's tough, and then because you're looking at even next week. But what I told our players and what I try to get them to understand, just make it a one-game season. Just hey, let's just go get ready for TCU. It's on the road, and you know what? When you go on the road, we know they have an unbelievable team, but we have to go play well, and we're going to have to play in all 3 phases: offense, defense, and the special teams. And that's the only way. And we're going to have to play above our heads to beat this team. So it's a challenge for us, and I know we've improved over the last 2 weeks, but now let's go take another step and see if we can continue to get better.
Cedric, you're in the front line.
Charlie, on Nick Rose bounce back, you resurrected Tyrone Swoops. Michael Dixon now is in therapy, I guess. So what are you going to do to keep him on the tracks?
Got to get him out of therapy. No, Dixon he's an older, he's older than those guys. So even talking with him, he'll bounce back. And but it was good to get Rose back and let him go out there and hit those 2 that he had. And even Tyrone, scoring the touchdown. It was just good to see their whole attitude. And I told Tyrone even before that, I said, hey, look, son, we got a good package for you. And you're going to get a chance to go in a game, and I just want to see you just go. And he did. But I think Dixon will be able to bounce back.
Brian here in front.
Charlie, we've talked about this before, but when you say the veterans have to keep the younger guys up, I mean, these are veterans who haven't won big.
Right.
They haven't done it. So how much do you as coaches have to step in and keep the mentality up? And then also, too, do you feel like there are positive things under the hood here, but they're just not reflected on the team's win-loss record?
I just got to lift that hood. No, but no, you're right, because the vets haven't won. You're right. So a lot of times when you haven't won, it's like, do you know how to win? But with that group, with Jay Gray and with Duke, I said to our team yesterday, I said we owe it to the seniors for them to go out and to go in this the right way, and that's why we got to keep playing and keep competing and keep playing hard. And I said it is up to us as a coaching staff to make sure that get accomplished. But you want to see it from the veterans because they want it bad, and like young guys, when you talk about the freshmen, they're going to go as they go. If they go out there with the right attitude, and I told our coaches, we got to be upbeat and we got to have something to us too, and we just can't go out there and walk around like it's the end of the world. It never is, because we just got to keep coaching.
Alex in front here.
Yo, Coach. The freshman corners played a bunch of snaps in the game. You said coming into this season, Coach Bedford said that the safety play y'all felt with Hall and Haynes coming back pretty well set. The corners were the bigger issue. At this point now, coming into the TCU game, like how set do you feel with the safety play, and also with Deshaun Elliott, do you have an update on him, when he could possibly be available, and if when he does become available, if in your experience he'll have enough time to possibly step in and play any meaningful snaps?
Well, the safety play with Haynes and Hall, you look at the last game when we were able to bring in PJ and Vaccaro, and I said to our guys, they deserve to play. So they'll get some rotation in, and they'll get in, just like we're rotating it at the corner position. But you have to make sure that, in the back end, we have the right checks, because we don't want to give up a home run, which we did earlier in the season. And we just got to make sure guys are covered and we don't give up those big plays. And with Elliott, he's going to be back. He's practicing now. So we just got to work him in. You're looking at someone who hasn't done anything, but he's working to get in.
Bob in front.
Charlie, what went into the decision to call the timeout on that final drive after the second down play? And second, I know you obviously have had the memory lapse, but on the penalty, what happened? What's the lesson that you take out of that?
Well, my lesson, I just got to stay under control, and I just can't. I just got upset over a call, and I probably shouldn't. And it was just enough calls to just get me, and then at one, it just threw me over the top. But I got to stay under. We can't lose. I can't lose my composure. But at the timeout, because we were down with the headsets, we was trying to get it all communicated. And, there's 3 guys standing there talking, and then the clock is running down, and then we had a motion and think we could get it off in time, and then we didn't want to go backwards again. And I think that more than anything, that hurt us with the communication process, because now we usually have Sean upstairs who can help Jay, and now everybody's standing on the sideline, so everybody's standing there together, and you just can't get it. We couldn't get it all done. So I think that was a more than officiating. I just think that just the loss of headsets hurt us more than anything on Saturday.
John, here in the front line.
Coach, I know you have to watch what you say about the officials, but that's what a lot of folks are talking about. Have you ever been involved in a game where there were so many questionable calls that were one-sided?
No, I haven't. but I do look at it like this. We have to be a better disciplined football team, and a lot of times they make the calls and they think they see what they see. But we just gotta be under control ourselves. And like I said, I got it. Even myself, But sometimes you just get pushed to that point. But I cannot allow that to have a direct impact on the game.
Claire in the back, camera.
Coach, you talked about needing to play well in all three phases. Last week it was the offense. This week it was the defense that seemed to improve. How close do you think they are to being able to put it all together and play a complete game?
I just hope, Claire, we're just a game away, and I just hope that each and every week we continue to improve and where we can just put it all together. You're right. You look at the defense this past week, and we had turnovers. We had 2 defensive touchdowns, and then offensively, the second half, we weren't able to go move the football. But I look at that, not that I'm making excuses, but anytime you lose your headsets and you have a young quarterback, which we needed communication with him, then it's tough, because now everybody's sitting there and really you can't see the whole defensive picture, because up top they can't tell you really what's going on. Hey, be ready for this corner, he's leaning this way, or this backer when they push the front. You can't tell him those things because no one sees it. But the communication is really critical for the offense, because defensively you're going to line up and really you don't want them to have headsets, because you want to go pressure them, don't want them to see where you're coming from and what you're doing.
Charlie, you're 4 games into this season. Do you feel like the team is still lacking a clear identity of who it is on either side of the ball?
Well, on the defensive side, with being there they kind of understand who they are. It's just more on defense is where you're hurting right now is that when you really think about it, and that's why I said earlier that Steve Edmond and Hicks are 2 guys that you're really going to miss, because you looked at 2 guys who have been a staple for so long. And there's 2 4-year starters. So now you go with Malik, and then we had to play Wheeler some. So now you're looking at 2 true freshmen at a critical. And you think about your defense, your backers are really critical for you, because they got to get people lined up, and they had to be vocal, they had to communicate. And so, and that's what happens to you, because up front, with Ridgeway and with Tank and those guys, they're waiting for a call, or they're waiting for somebody to tell them really what to go do. And then you're so young at the corner position. So you look at your backer position, you look at your corner position, and it's more they just continue to grow, and they're going to grow each and every week, and they just got to grow into it. And just got to make plays. Like, it was good to see Ridgeway, a guy who's been there, go step up, and then you watch a young freshman go and get an interception for a touchdown. But defensively, it's just about them just each and every week. It's going to be one where they got to continue to just play together and just play hard. And offensively, I think that now with Hurd back there, you kind of have an identity of what we're trying to do, and we want to be up pace, and you want to move the ball, and you want to get the ball in the playmaker's hand. You throw that one to the J, and if he catches that, he's off and running. And you have enough guys with 3, with 7, with the J making his Burt. You have enough guys, and in the backfield you got 32 and 33. So you have enough around them. So that's why you can take the pressure off the offensive line if those guys can go and make the plays and make the play. And we need to make the plays on the perimeter.
Chris in the back, camera.
Charlie, TCU's traditionally been known as having such a strong defense, but they give up 52 to Tech. They're hurt, missing a lot of guys. Is that something that you think you guys can take advantage of, their defense giving up so many points?
Well, what they're doing right now is they're outscoring. They're outscoring people. So what they're going to do is, if we can do it, we're going to have to be able to match scores with them, because they're scoring a ton of points, but they're giving up points. But I think they've missed 6 defensive starters, And that's really hard. I mean, there's no way if we were to miss 6 defensive starters, we would really be in trouble. I mean, there's no way. I mean, wow. Knock on wood, I hope that don't happen. But it's tough. But it's tough in college football when you're missing that many guys. But it turns into a scoring game now. But they have the weapons on offense where they can score, and they can score fast. And that's why on defense, we had to be smart and don't give up the big play and just make them drive the ball and see if we're patient enough to make them drive the football.
Charlie, Gerard did not speak with us post-game. Just to clarify, is this an illness, injury, and was it a concern of yours heading into the game on Saturday?
Now, he had I know on Thursday that we had looked at him. I think he had a little temperature. Then he came back there Friday, and they filled him up with fluids on Friday, and then he would go out there on Saturday. Wasn't that concerned because he had enough rest. And then plus we knew we were going to place Tyrone some in the short yardage package, and we're just trying to take hits off of him. But I think he's bounced back, and he'll be back and ready to go.
Ricky in front.
Charlie, speaking about Gerard a little bit, it seemed like he struggled somewhat Saturday. Is that just a little bit of the reality of a freshman starting his 3rd game? And is the good news that a lot of the mistakes seem to be pretty correctable?
Yeah, I think that more than anything, Ricky held the ball too long and just released the football. And it's not going to be – a guy's not going to be wide open, but we have guys that are running clean. And just go ahead and trust your ability. And sometimes when you're dealing with a young player like that, they just want – first thing, their reaction, if it's not there, take off. But if you watch Oklahoma State, did a really good job of, containing the ball, corralling the ball, and forcing him in one direction. So now he can run back out the back door because they always had somebody coming back to the backside. And that's what I told him during the game. I said, listen, you're going to have to release the ball. They're not going to let you just run up and down the field like you did last week. But it's more of him just seeing it. And you think about it being in his 3rd start, and that's a really good defense. And what they did a lot of changing up because you look at them on 3rd down. And what's tough when you're standing there and you can stand up guys and you have a young quarterback and he really don't know where the pressure is coming. And that's why we need the communication we didn't have for him. And that would have helped him out tremendously.
Coach, what's your friendship or relationship with Gary Patterson? He's a defensive guy like you're a defensive guy, but it looks like he's gone to the other side, loves the offense. What about the job Patterson has done? Have you ever faced him before as a coach?
No, me and Gary, we go way back because I know at one time we were both finalists for the Brawls Award, so we had a chance to really sit down and talk. But he's done an unbelievable job there at TCU, and you look at his success even last season, and to go back and match it this season, the job they're doing. Unbelievable coach, really good coach.
And one front right.
Coach, there were a lot of unforced errors, committed by your team, whether it was Hurd taking that sack on 4th down, the drop passes, clear on the punt, or Hutchins missing a block. How do you correct some of those things? What do you tell some of these guys that, made those type of mental errors?
Well, you have to correct them, and you talk to them. There's no way that should ever happen because it's this game is mental and physical, and you have to be locked in. You have to be focused, and a lot of times, when a guy walks out there, you have a job to do. Just do your job. And you don't know what play in the game is going to determine the game, so that's why you have to play every play. And they have to understand that.
Brian in front.
Charlie, an X's and O's question. It seems like your corners, the way they're turned in, they give a lot of cushion and make slants very easy for the other team to complete. But they're funneling things back to the middle of the field. What are your thoughts on how you approach these passing teams, and what do you want the secondary to do?
Well, it depends, Brian, on who the corner is. It's guys got to trust their ability because if you watch, a lot of times it depends on the alignment. The alignment of a wide receiver will tell you a lot of time what the route is. If you ever watch, if they're out wide, listen, the only thing they can do is come back inside. And if they're tight, they're going to go across the field or they're going to run an outcut. But you got to trust their ability. And when you're dealing with a lot of young corners, they just don't have that confidence yet. I mean, they're lined up, and you want to say, hey, go press them, then they think they're going to get beat over the top. But, with those young guns, nothing phases them. I mean, it's like they're going to jump up there, and they're going to press, and they're going to go inside and do what you ask them to do. But, guys just have to trust who they are and trust their ability. This is a game where alignments and what I always tell them that formation and alignments tell you everything, but you have to study it and you have to realize what is coming. And once you understand what the formation is, you know, they brought a it was a big third down play, and they bring a crossing route all the way back across the field. And we knew what the route was. They knew we call that a drive route. They understand what the route was, but we don't defend it. Okay, we know the route, so let's defend it. But that happens, and the guy ended up running past the backer, not running him back to our sideline. But it is, and it's all about adjustments, but it's where we guys, we just had to continue to coach them and get them in the right place.
3 last ones, Chip. That's all right.
Charlie, the season tickets go up an average of 21.5%. You don't have any say over that. This thing, fans think you're headed towards 1 and 5, and doom and gloom. And some questions about whether you were supported by your athletic director. You don't have a communications director who was with you. What's a fair expectation for the fans from this team and where the program is right now in light of all the stuff that's been going on around here?
I say this, Chip, and this is University of Texas, and it is an elite of the elitists, and our fans are unbelievable. We have the best fans in the country, and their job is just come out and support our team, and it's going to get headed in the right direction. I don't ever want to make an excuse. We know this. We got to get better. We have to play better. We have to give them something to watch where it's exciting for them. But it's if you ever watch it, it's a cycle that we're going through right now. But it's a cycle that can turn quickly, and it can turn in our favor, which is that's going to happen. But we need their support, and we need them to come out and support support this team. It's not a better feeling for a player to know that he has all the support around him, and when he knows that everybody is behind him. But that happens. We go out there last week against Cal, and we get a standing ovation after the game, and then even this week against Oklahoma State, the student section was still standing there cheering when we ran off the field. So we just know this. We got to do a better job of coaching. Our players got to do a better job of playing. But we need our fans, and we need their support, and we need everybody. From the Letterman to the alums to whomever. Even the Subway fans, if you want to call them that. But we need everyone behind us, and because you know what, when it flips, which is gonna flip, then everybody's gonna want to jump on board. So they might as well get on board right now because it's gonna flip.
Charlie, could you just kind of assess 2016 recruiting and where you guys are with that class in terms of, do you feel like you're in a good spot with the priority targets on your board? Do you feel like you and the staff have been proactive enough? And when the results on the field aren't where you want them to be, what do you sell to those top guys that you need to get in here?
Well, it's going to be just like happened last year, where it's going to go down to the end, and we're recruiting, and we recruit every day. That's not the issue. The issue is that we just got to continue to play better, because it's what they look at, because they want to be a part of a team that's winning, but also they want to be a part of a team where they know there's light at the end of the tunnel, but there's a lot of guys still sitting there, so it's not like you guys. I know we're so used to rushing into it, but I mean, those guys, it's not like you can press them for a decision, because they're not going to give you one, because they're going to say, well, I want to go here, coach. So we're pressing for decisions, but you're just not getting them right now. And no one's getting those decisions, because you still see them sitting there.
Last one, Kurt.
Charlie, you're an 18.5-point underdog to TCU. Does that suggest a lack of respect, and do you use that to motivate your team?
I didn't know it was that bad, huh? Wow. Well, we just got to go out this week and go to work. I mean, wow. All right.
That's it.
All right. Thanks, guys.